Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drux Milan Unboxing. Before we start, please hit that like button and please smash the subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. It would help to grow the channel. Friday night, all eyes are going to be on the Sheffield Arena in the UK. I think that's the best fight we've got going this weekend. And that will, of course, be the local hero, Sonny Edwards, defending his IBF Flyweight Championship of the World against the former IBF Junior Flyweight Champion of the World, Felix Alvarado. Now, Sonny Edwards, of course, burst onto the scene. He's one half of two brothers, Sonny and Charlie Edwards. Charlie was world champion, now Sonny is world champion. And he upset the very seasoned South African, my local friend over here in South African boxing, Moruti Mtalane. He upset him, he outpointed him by quite a decisive margin, and he became the new world champion. And that was an upset because Moruti Mtalane was a seasoned champion, and so far he's done well for himself. Sonny Edwards, he's beaten Jason Mama, and he's also beaten Muhammad Wasim in his last fight. And he's looked quite good doing so, in my opinion. Now, we've got a big style difference here, because Sonny Edwards, he is 18-0 with only 4 knockouts. He's not a big puncher. Punching power is not his forte. He's a boxer in a classical sense. He's a guy that's on his toes and on his feet. He likes to move. He likes to switch hit as well. He'll change into the southpaw style, stay there a while, go back to orthodox, whatever he feels suits him in the fight. So he's definitely a hit and move specialist. He's not the puncher. And then on the other hand, we've got Rene Alvarado. He is that classical pressure fighting, hard punching fighter, and he's from Nicaragua, a small country that gave us some greats like Alexis Arguello and of course Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez will be in action next month. But Felix Alvarado has got a record now of 38 wins, 2 losses, and he's got 53 knockouts. So he's a guy that can whack. He's not a one and done puncher, but he's got heavy hands. He keeps punching you until eventually you fall over. Now, his only 2 losses came way back in 2014, I think. He's been undefeated since, and that was in 2 previous title shots against Kazuto Ioka, the Japanese star, who is a pound-for-pound, a true elite-level fighter, and then against Juan Carlos Reveco in his second title shot. And in both those fights, they were competitive fights. There were close rounds in those fights, and he gave those guys a very good run for their money, and he had to wait a long time to get another title shot, and then he made the best of it, stopping Filipino Randy Petalcorin. And he also defended that belt a couple of times. One of them was a stoppage win over our own DJ Kriel. So we know Felix Alvarado quite well here in South Africa. Now, I'm saying this is a very good test for Sonny Edwards. This will show if he is just another world champion in the 17 weight division 4 belt area, or if he is indeed maybe somebody who's on the elite level like a Kazuto Ioka. He wants that unification bout with WBC champion Julio Cesar Martinez, and he needs to get past Felix Alvarado to make that happen. Now, you don't just beat Felix Alvarado. Being world class is not good enough. You've got to be a bit special to do that. And style-wise, this fight reminds me a bit of a fight between Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez. Whitaker stylistically wise being Edwards and Chavez being Alvarado. I'm not saying they greats like Alvarado or Whitaker, don't jump down my throat, but you can see the stylistic comparison that I'm doing here. And for Sonny Edwards, he's going to have to fight a very, very out of his skin kind of fight here. It's obvious what he has to do. He's going to have to do what he's always done. He's going to have to stick and move. He's going to have to throw a jab. He's going to have to pot shot Alvarado, because Alvarado is a guy that you can counter punch. He's not impossible to hit. He's got his hands nice and tight. He feints a bit. He bends his upper body a bit. That's how he's improved since the Ioka fight. But you can hit him. You can counter punch him like DJ Kriel did. But his chin so far has been excellent. I don't think Sonny Edwards is going to make a dent in Alvarado. So for him to win, he's going to need to negate everything that Alvarado does, and he's going to have to use that entire ring. He's going to have to move. He's going to have to stay off the ropes. He's going to have to loop that right hand through or loop the left hand through if he goes to the southpaw stance. He's going to have to keep Alvarado from hitting him, and he's going to have to hit him with some shots in return to win this fight on points. Much like he did against Moruti Mtalane, although I think Felix Alvarado he's a bit younger and he's a bit fresher than Moruti, and he closes the gap maybe a little bit quicker. And Alvarado is a workhorse. He's got a high work rate. So it's going to be something that Sonny Edwards hasn't seen before. In his last fight against Mohamed Wasim, we know him, of course, as well in South Africa. Wasim is the guy that Moruti and Talani picked up the IBF title in his second title reign. Now, Mohamed Wasim is a very solid fighter, but he's not a guy who's got a very high work rate. He's not busy all the time. And I think he's rather flat-footed. Now, Alvarado is not on his toes, but I think Alvarado cuts off the ring quite a bit better than Mohamed Wasim does. He's more dynamic. Alvarado, for me, he closes the gap much quicker. Now, even Mohamed Wasim was able to get Sonny Edwards on the ropes and keep him there. I was quite impressed by how well Sonny Edwards blocks and leans and turns with the punches when he is on the ropes. He fights off well off the ropes. But I think he's not going to... He ate some punches from Wasim when he was on the ropes to the body and so on. And I think if Alvarado can keep him on the ropes, he's going to hurt Sonny Edwards, because I think he punches quicker and with more authority than Mohamed Wasim does. So I think that's the difference in this fight. So I can see Sonny Edwards boxing the perfect fight and somehow manage to squeeze out a much closer decision than Whittaker against Chavez. We all know that fight wasn't a draw, but he can maybe just box, move, frustrate Alvarado and just counterpunch enough to steal rounds and win on points. Or Alvarado is going to get to him and he is going to be able to hurt Sonny Edwards and eventually start hurting him later in the fight. Those are the two possibilities, you know. And Alvarado is fighting away from home. We know the UK judges aren't going to do him any favours. He's going to have to win clearly. So what is going to happen? For me, this is now truly a baptism of fire for Sonny Edwards. We'll see if he's a truly elite level fighter or just a world-class fighter that became a world champion. And I have a suspicion. I just think Felix Alvarado, I think height-wise, he's an inch taller than Sonny Edwards. I don't know what Edwards' reach is like, but I think physically they've got the same advantages. I just think Felix Alvarado, who's also incidentally part of a brother deal, he's got a brother Rene Alvarado as well, just like Sonny Edwards and Charlie Edwards. So I think Felix Alvarado, he cuts the ring off better than previous opponents of Sonny Edwards did. And I think he's going to get Edwards on those ropes at some stage. I think he's going to struggle. I think Edwards will frustrate anybody. I think he might fall behind on points in some rounds. But I think he's a guy who doesn't neglect to punch the body. He's going to go downstairs. He's going to slow Sonny Edwards down at a point, and he's going to get him on spots there, on the ropes, like Mohamed Wasim did. Some of those moments, I know Edwards chose to fight off the ropes. He won't do it here, but I do think Felix Alvarado by the middle rounds, by rounds 5, 6, he's going to start having his moments where he's got Edwards in the corner, he's got Edwards on the rope. And if he is able to hit Edwards there with consistency, which he will be able to do once he's got him backed up against something solid like a corner or the ropes, Edwards is going to feel it, and he's going to feel those body shots. And I think he's going to feel those shots to the head of Alvarado. Alvarado digs with that left hook. He likes the left uppercut. He comes over with the right hand. And that's where, of course, Edwards might be looking to counter him. But I don't think Edwards has got the firepower to make Alvarado think twice. And I think Alvarado will get to him. Will he get to him enough to slow him down and to start really hurting him? My gut feel is that Felix Alvarado is going to get to Sonny Edwards as the rounds go by. And I'm going with Felix Alvarado to grind out a stoppage there in the championship rounds, let's say in the 11th round or somewhere around there. I think Felix Alvarado is eventually going to get to Sonny Edwards and he'll wilt. And I'm going with Felix Alvarado here by late round stoppage. But let's see, Sonny Edwards might put on a scintillating performance on those twinkle toes of his, and he might just box a masterpiece and manage to hold on to his belt against Alvarado. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a classical boxer versus fighter type of confrontation. There should be a great atmosphere in the Sheffield arena. Guys, if you've already left a like and a subscribe, please tell me in the comment sections what you think. Who do you have winning this fight? And until we see each other again, remember to keep those hands up.